Nestled peacefully amongst celebrities, movies, and cinema in the heart of Hollywood is a video game store. But this game store isn't like a lot of others that we're used to. Within the span of just 3 years, one man has turned this video game store into a video game empire. This is the story of Romeo and LA Video Games.
Welcome to LA Video Games here in Melrose. We have cabinets that the company owns on this wall, and in the middle of the store, we have cabinets that we rent out to different people that sell their own products or their own collections.
We are here, finally. We've never actually been to your store.
You never have.
Never have. You have basically a dozen different stores within this store.
Yes.
So these are, explain that to us. So you have, these are yours and these are somebody else's, right?
Exactly. So all the cabinets along the walls belongs to the LA Video Games company.
These walls?
Yes.
This and the other
This
wall.
and the other wall. And with these cabinets, we can ring up customers using credit card, debit card, and cash sales.
Yeah.
But the cabinets in the middle of the store, we actually rent the space out to different collectors that want to sell their collection or their extra inventory.
That's
and if
cool.
Yeah, thank you. Very innovative.
Yes, I think so. I wish there was something like that in Phoenix.
Soon, maybe soon.
Right.
Now, with that being said, that's what makes every cabinet in the middle different, has its own style, its own personality, and its own prices. Now, if you or any general customer wants to come and not buy from LA Video Games and want to buy from the cabinet crew, perfectly fine. You'll see some QR codes on their cabinet, which is Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, or Zelle. With your phone, scan, pay, show your confirmation, you own the item. Me, my team will come unlock the cabinet. Here you go and have a good day.
Done.
Simple as that. This guy's actually renting a cabinet all the way from Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
So he sends you stuff and then puts it in this cabinet.
Yeah. These are newest cabinet crew here at the Melrose location.
So walk us through, starting right here. You have the World of Nintendo cabinet.
This is a World Nintendo cabinet, and I want people to not be scared of the cabinet, so I put a bunch of plushes in it so they can open it all day, mess it up, have fun, how I was back in the late 80s. And it's all original, except for this piece right here. This piece had to get custom made. There was 2 of these.
Wow.
I ended up buying both. I went to this collector's house and ended up getting one for myself.
How did you get into this industry?
Man, this started about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I was just a regular collector, just collecting stuff for my personal self. I ended up going into wild and garage sales. And of course, naturally, you find doubles and triples.
Yeah.
And I didn't want those doubles and triples, so I wanted to get rid of them to get stuff for my personal collection, as so anyone would be.
Right, I can't
You
believe
know, right? I found a local buy-sell trade event out in the desert in the Inland Empire that they were hosting it and having people come out, free event, to buy-sell trade each other. So I brought all my doubles and triples to the event, and that's where the journey began to build LA Video Games.
And build kind of an empire.
Yes.
So you have 2 stores.
I have 2 stores, correct.
But we also see you constantly sponsoring expos and major events, and then what we're here for is Bits and Brews tomorrow. Bits and Beers.
Bits and beers.
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 That's cool. LA Video Games is more than just the 2 stores. They also are one of the biggest gaming advocates in the state of California, sponsoring events all over the state and expos and events outside of California. What do we have that's LA Video Games property in here?
This right here is our Pokemon cabinet.
Look at that sign.
Yes, we actually got that from the real Pokemon company. We actually have a wholesale account with Pokemon. Took us over a year and a half to get on board. I go through so many hoops to get on Pokemon, but once we were in and they approved us, they gave us the sign, they gave us the standees, they gave us some banners, they gave us some promotional stuff, all from the Pokemon company headquarters.
One thing that I really wanted to know personally was, what is the rarest item? Not necessarily the most expensive that you've ever had in the store, but what's the rarest item?
The rarest item currently right now in our possession is a Nintendo counselor jacket, color red, with Metroid on it, that you could only get for working at Nintendo of America back in the late 80s.
That's crazy. Is that one of a kind?
That is definitely 100% one of a kind. There's a couple of Samus variations, a black one, a gray one, but the red one is the rarest in the world right now. Probably the rarest statue right now, my company, LA Video Games, owns it, and it's an Evil Within big brain statue from Bethesda. from the actual E3 floor. It's currently sitting in our warehouse. It's massive. It's probably like half the size of my store.
Oh man, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so that's probably the honorable mentions. This is our Xbox section, our ode to Xbox. It mixes up from OG to 360 to 1. Here we have our PlayStation cabinet, and of course everything PlayStation. Our PlayStation 1 section here at the Melrose location is so hard to stock because there's so many PlayStation heads, but we have a good amount of 2, 3, 4, and sprinkling a little bit of 5.
Let's switch back over. Let's talk about video games exclusively.
Okay.
What's the most expensive video game you've had in the store ever?
Ever? It'll be 2, and they're both tied. Pokemon Box for the GameCube, and Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut for the Nintendo 64. And this sounds kind of crazy, and people might not believe it, but we sold Pokemon Box and both Clay Fighters for $3,000 each.
How long ago was this?
The Clay Fighters was like 3-4 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that's because it was for a celebrity. He doesn't want to be named, but he really wanted for his game collection.
Can we make guesses?
You got 3 chances.
Well, we'll let everybody else take guesses below.
Yes, comment below who you think that celebrity was that purchased those games.
His Hollywood location is frequented by celebrities like Jessica Biel, John Bernthal, and Justin Timberlake. You really never know who you're going to run into when you shop at an LA Video Games location.
We had to pay our respects to where video games first came into this world, and right here we have an Intellivision section. Not that many game stores put Intellivision into their stores. It's not the greatest seller, but we do to show an ode to where video games came from, as well as some Sega involved in it with some Neo Geo Pocket.
We have our pride and joy, the 3DS.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So as you know, we're trying to get a complete 3DS collection, and we're 4 games away.
I know, I've been watching.
I appreciate it. Have you played 3DS at all?
Of course I have.
Are you a fan of the 3DS?
I am.
Okay.
I am. The only thing I don't like about the 3DS is actually the 3D function.
Yeah.
I do get motion sickness
Same.
myself.
Same.
So I play without it.
Awesome.
But without that feature, phenomenal handheld.
Awesome.
Phenomenal.
So this is all your cabinet.
This is all us. All this right here, we call this Nintendo Alley. Nintendo's actually the biggest system that we stock because it's the hottest seller. So our main aisle is always Nintendo Alley. From where it is to where it started. We have Wii right here, GameCube, super hard to keep stock. GameCube prices are skyrocketing like crazy. The games are hard to find. And fun fact, did you know the GameCube disc is so thin and your fingers have natural oils on them that if you leave your fingerprint on a GameCube disc for a while and don't wipe it off, it starts to develop mold. And once it develops mold, it could never be played with ever again. It's off the market.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And moving on, we have your favorite Nintendo 64.
My favorite N64, and this right here, as soon as you step into these doors, I want you to be greeted where Nintendo first came into the world, which is NES. We go from NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. And the second I got your attention with this one, I know the rest is smooth sailing.
What is your favorite part about owning a video game store?
Man, there's a lot of things that I like about owning a game store, but I will say my favorite part is the kids coming to the store.
Yeah?
Yeah, I actually like the kids. I like the kids more than adults because they're just so new to games, or they're just so fresh into collecting, or especially like the young generation that know everything about the game. Oh, this character does this character has this stats, this. I love that. It's like, wow, this is gonna be alive for quite a while.
Because they're the future of gamers.
Yeah, they're preserving history. I love seeing that. I got this from a furniture warehouse that was going out of business.
That's random. And it's heavy duty.
It's a heavy boy, definitely. I have no idea. Metal.
Something heavy.
Yeah, something heavy. Fallout soda.
What is the hardest part about owning a video game store?
There's 2. And this is just for me. Everyone else can be very different. But my hardest part about owning the LA Video Games Company or a game store is the inventory. We push so much inventory out every day, every week, that it's kind of hard to keep our shelves stocked. and we're constantly buying like crazy, and we still can't keep the floor stock. And then the second part about the hardest thing about owning a game store is all the hours that you have to put in. People think it's a fun job, and it is. It does have its funs, but they don't know that it's a high maintenance job. Testing, cleaning, making sure it's good. These products are over 20 years old. It might work one day, it might not work the next. You might get returns, customers might get mad, they might have a bad experience, they might talk bad. That's the hardest part, is all the hours going into it just to maintain a video game store. My workday every day is minimum 12 to 13 hours.
Really?
A day, yeah. This right here is a Game Boy Advance standee. Mine is in full working condition, and there's actually a little button right here, and when you squeeze it, it makes 3 noises. And my favorite one?
Yeah.
Oh, the classic, the classic.
Oh, that's
that standee so hard to find. Once again, same era as the other standee, the GameCube one, Crystal Chronicles, but there's actually a little switch right here in this hole, and when you press on it, it actually spins around. Oops, what happened? There we go, it's spinning now, and it shows all the gameplay on one end and the characters right in the front.
So what are your big future plans for LA Video Games?
Man, LA Video Games, the near future, we're getting ready to prepare and build store number 3.
What?
Yes, so store number 3 is currently being developed. The whole team is involved. There is a lot of preparation for this next store. I may have the smallest stores in LA, but the next one, I'm gonna make it a pretty good sized one.
I imagine that's a lot of inventory that you're going to need to put aside for this new location.
Yes, yes. And with our stores being so popular and inventory flying off the shelf, putting the inventory aside for store number 3, that's a little bit of a challenge to know. But I have a really good team. I know they're gonna pull through.
All right, so you have a statue right when we get to LA Video Games.
Yep.
It's dark out, so work with us. But right when we get here, we see the Fallout Boy statue, which is the Pit Boy.
The Pit Boy.
Or is it the... It's not the Pit Boy. The Pit Boy is the thing on the arm. What is his name?
I don't know.
It could be Pit Boy.
It could be Pit Boy. We don't know. Comment below on what his name is.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So anyways, where did you get him?
I actually got him. Shout out to Doug at Retro City Games in Las Vegas. We shut down a deal, and I end up getting this beautiful statue for my front window display at LA Video Games, because I want to make sure that you're greeted when you come on in.
And he is giving us a nice, happy greet. I love it.
And fun fact, now with the Fallout series coming out, or the show, Amazon has reached out to us to rent these statues for a future event coming up.
What is your biggest regret about maybe opening the store?
My biggest regret about opening the store, I do have one.
Yeah.
I should have done it sooner.
Really?
I should have done it sooner. I waited till 2021 to open my first store, and I was really scared doing it. And if I could do it all over again, I would have done it the second I was done with that very first event I ever did.
Say I wanted to open up my own video game store, or anybody else watching that hopes to open their own video game store, what's the number one tip that you would give them?
Own your product. Don't take out loans. Don't have investors. Make sure you have a good stockpile, a good equity, a good cash flow, and a good brand name. And you should be just fine.
So cash is king.
Cash is king.
No credit.
No credit. Everything that the LA Video Games Company owns, we have no angel investors, no bank loans, no partners. Everything that we own is fully paid off in cash.
That must feel amazing.
It's great. It's great. If I want to sell all the games for $1, I don't care.
So this is the Melrose store.
Yes, it is.
Let's go to Sherman Oaks. We're here.
Hey,
Sherman Oaks. Huh?
welcome. Wow.
Dude, this store is smaller,
It is smaller. Welcome to Sherman Oaks.
but it looks really, really cool.
Thank you, man.
Oh, let's check this out.
Let me give you a tour. Now, what we specialize here at Sherman Oaks that our Melrose location doesn't have, our Melrose location does not have a PSP section. We have that here. They don't have a PS Vita section. We have that here. And over here, we have a very good and healthy Sega Game Gear section.
Gear section.
Yes, yes. And a Sega Saturn and a nice hefty TurboGrafx.
Hard-hitting questions for you. You've been
for
doing
it.
this 3 years.
Yes.
How the heck have you guys gotten as big and crazy as you have in 3 years?
Man, that is a really good question. It's reinvesting all of our profits back into the company. So let's say we get a game for $5 and we sell it for $10 and we made a profit for $5. Instead of keeping that for ourselves, we put it right back into the company. We buy that game again for $5 and we buy another game again for $5. We do have some profitability that we set aside for payroll and for lights and overhead, but besides the bare minimum, everything else keeps funneling back into the company.
There's got to be an extensive passion behind what you're doing, because we see video game stores all the time that have been around for a decade, that don't have the level of saturation of the market that you do, that don't have the ability to sponsor a gaming expo, to have the presence that you have all over town, to have all these other vendors here. I got to give a lot of credit to you to be doing something like that with so little time, and it's pretty incredible, honestly.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Now over here, what we have is our vintage clothing rack. We have our LA Video Games merchandise on the bottom, but on top, we have a bunch of vintage or promo t-shirts. We do very good with our vintage t-shirts here at the Sherman location. Recently, we had a celebrity, I can't say who, but they cleaned us out on most of our selection to, he's getting into video games and he was really liking the vintage video game shirts.
The Zelda one's beautiful.
Twilight Princess?
Princess?
Yeah. This one, actually, I hunted this one down personally at E3 when they were promoting Halo Wars 2.
Oh, that's cool.
Do you even play video games? Honestly, you have all these stores, well, 2 stores, but you have what, 8 staff members?
I do have 8 staff members.
And then you have 2 stores in LA. One of them's in Hollywood, like where all the celebrities are.
Yes.
And you work a ton. How?
And a warehouse.
And a warehouse. Is it a secret warehouse?
It is a very secret warehouse, top secret. You have to get clearance from all 3 of the major heads of the company.
Like put a bag over my head and drive me there type
Definitely,
of situation?
definitely.
Other than the motion sickness, I'm totally down for that. But with all that, do you actually play video games?
Of course.
What are you playing right now?
Legend of Zelda, Tears to the Kingdom. I almost said Kingdom Hearts. Yes.
You played Breath of the Wild.
Of course I did. I 100% completed it. And I recently also just beat Kirby in the Forgotten Lands.
That was a good game.
Yeah, 100% completed. Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing, so fun. I am playing something retro, and the only retro game I'm playing is Pokemon Red.
Okay.
I play Pokemon Red just
right.
for a couple minutes
Yeah.
when I get home from work, just to de-stress a little bit, you know? That's about it. Now here at Sherman Oaks, people are weird about these games. So we have a whole test area right here
Oh,
that they can actually play their games before they buy them. From anyone. From,
that's crazy.
yeah, from the family crew.
I've never seen that at a video game store.
Yeah.
So we've purchased 2 copies of Dino Crisis 3 on Xbox, and they both are broken.
Oh, no way.
And because we're big video game collectors, we don't get around to testing our games right away.
Makes
For
sense.
buying them.
Makes sense.
And so by the time we get around to testing them, they're outside of
The return policy.
Yeah.
No, here, like I said, we stock a lot of heat, a lot of good games, and you know, these games are not cheap sometimes.
Mhm.
You know, so people do want to make sure they work, and as so they should. So we have a whole test area so they can play any game from any system. We're still missing a couple, but we pull them out from the back and pull the controllers up. You can test it from us or the cabinet crew and play as long as they want. And if they want it, we just check them out and that's it.
That's
You know?
so cool.
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, we can't afford to put this in Hollywood because it's Hollywood.
That's right.
And people will be there all day, you know?
Yeah.
But here it's a little bit more laid back in the suburbs, so we let
That's
that
cool.
happen. Yeah.
It's a unique shopping experience.
Thank you.
And that is a huge TV for this tiny store.
Huge, huge. You want to make sure that the gaming's huge.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I mean, you got to stand back there to see it properly.
Yeah, especially when we're playing Wii, you'll see me and a couple of customers playing tennis, and we're like all right here just playing with each other right here. And people out the back are like, what they're doing, we're playing Wii tennis like this. It's so cool.
So we're at this current stage in your video game journey. What started it?
I will have to give credit to my mom, rest in peace. We were growing up poor, and I remember she got an ice blue Nintendo 64 at a pawn shop to keep me busy so I wouldn't be in the streets running around like a maniac, because I am a pretty crazy guy. And she got me Quest 64, and that's what started my video game collecting journey. I was game collecting since like I was 9 years old, and I had all my games complete in the box. She actually even took me to a local game store around here, and she actually ended up buying me Conker's Bad Fur Day.
And how old were you?
I was at that time 10 when that game came out.
And did she pay attention when you were playing it and realize that she probably made a mistake?
She did. It was my birthday, and she said, you can have any game in the store.
Yeah.
So I went to the clerk and I said, I want the baddest game you have. And he said, well, for Nintendo 64, the baddest game is this one, Conker's Bad Fur Day. And I was like, cool, I'll take it. But the clerk looked at my mom and said, hey, I know this looks like a squirrel, but this game is not made for kids. I'm telling you right now that it's not made for kids. Do you want to go ahead and buy it? And mom was like, well, and I said, hey, you said I could have any video game for my birthday, and that's the one I want.
Yeah.
So she was like, well, I did say that, and I bought that complete in the box. I played it. My mom was flipping.
Oh, I bet, yeah. Did you beat it?
Of course. So I've been game collecting since I was a little kid, but of course we go through that era and age where we grow up and we have to sell our games. Bringing it back, I was poor my whole life, really like dead
Same,
poor.
I totally get it, yeah.
And I remember when I was finishing my college degree in business finance and I had a job in banking. I kind of wanted to play video games again and get the games that I had when I was a kid. And that's when I started collecting-esque, just getting the games I want. It didn't spiral out of control to what it is now.
That's how it goes. It's a really, really deep rabbit hole.
Yeah, but that's how I started. Yeah, we have a multi-cab. The actual cab shell is all original. Tekken Tag. We actually still have the motherboard for Tekken Tag actually inside the cabinet, but we just changed it out the hardware to put 25 cents and pick 3,000 games to play from.
The celebrities playing it a lot?
No. But a lot of gamers, yeah. A lot of gamers. They do.
You've always got great displays in your stores.
Man,
Dude, that Rogue Squadron one is sick.
So sick. Look, it's 360, bro. Look at the other side. Oh, man.
Like they took an actual bottle.
They did.
They put it in cardboard.
They did.
Surrounded it.
Oh, that is
That's
so
cool.
That one is definitely up there, my favorite standees. And then I'll say my favorite standee of this store is tied between that one, but this one right here, the GameCube one.
Yeah, the stack.
The triple
The stack, because nowadays you won't find a triple stack of these because each one of these boxes is going for $500.
That's so crazy.
So a lot of times people only have one part of the standee.
So I'm a big yokai watch collector.
Are you?
Yeah. And that standee I've never seen before.
You've never seen that one?
No, I've never seen that. But I love Jibanyan.
Yes.
And then right next to it is
Kingdom
Kingdom Hearts.
Hearts.
Big Kingdom Hearts fan.
And that yokai watch one, funny enough, GameStop was gonna throw it in the trash. And I asked them, can I have it for $5? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was way back in the day.
We had the Xenoblade Chronicles one.
I saw that you got that as a gift, right?
No,
You
you got it for $25 at a store that was closing locally.
No way!
Yeah.
One of these days, we'll try to go to every GameStop in LA. Just kidding.
I don't know.
That would be insane. That's not gonna
no, you get robbed. Coming out.
Wanted to thank you, Romeo,
Of course.
for allowing us to tour your amazing stores.
My pleasure. Thank you guys.
They're amazing, and we can't thank you enough for sharing the information you have, and I hope that somebody at home appreciates what LA Video Games has done to kind of revolutionize what video game stores can be. And if anybody ever wants to open up a video game store, this is kind of the business model I think you really need to take if you want to be successful with it.
Thank you, man.
And still
Appreciate
enjoy it.
And still enjoy it. Have fun. You have to have a passion to do this. And you have to know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
So then, until then, remember, the couple that goes to video game stores together stays together. And friends. Take care, everybody. We'll see you
Bye,
next time.
guys.